What is going on, Pats Nation? It's Patriots Global back here with another video, and in this one, got my first collab going here on the channel. We also have that first face reveal going on here. So, Dan, I mean, you came on a real special one. The only time I really show my face is during those live streams. Yeah, we haven't done that before on this channel. We don't have that camera to do the quality, but
holy shit.
I know, right? You're super special, my man. But
look at that.
This is Dan Mitchell here, guys, from Don Mafia, covers the Bills, my good friend here. I know that if you guys are probably wondering why he looks familiar, it's probably because I promoted the heck out of that video I did with him a few weeks ago. So if you haven't seen that video, go check it out where I talk about, the Patriots against the Bills here. But Dan, you want to give a little rundown of your channel here?
Yeah, man, for sure. Like, I started my channel, I want to say it was last August, and I basically cover the Buffalo Bills in general. I cover a little bit of the NFL, and then I try to play a little bit of Madden. It's definitely good that I started this past year, because say that I were to cover the Buffalo Bills for the past 4 to 5 years, then I probably would have been a depressed motherfucker for the past couple of years.
For
so,
sure.
I mean, I'm just glad that now, like, my team's somewhat relevant. I'm not sure whether or not that your fans agree with me, like, right on that take, but I mean, we'll see what's going on. Super happy to be here, Colby.
Yeah, for real, buddy. Thank you for coming on here. So, guys, Dan is going to be one of the many people coming on to my channel that are part of the big network that I've been talking to you guys about, Fan to Fan. And Dan knows a lot about this. He's had a lot of hands-on work already with this. So, Dan, you kind of want to give the people a rundown of just what they can expect from us for Fan to Fan.
And for sure, guys. Honestly, this is something that we are absolutely pumped about. So YouTubers like me and Colby, we've partnered with over 30 other YouTubers that cover their own respective team, and we're giving you a sports network that you absolutely deserve. So, I mean, like, I'm sure you've seen most sports networks. They're starting to drift away from sports, it seems like. But when it comes to Fan to Fan Network, you are actually going to see genuine takes from people that actually give a shit about their team. We're starting on July 4th. I know that Colby's probably going to link this in his description, but make sure that you subscribe to our Twitch channel, because, I mean, that's legitimately where the entire process is going to be. Like, I mean, think about ESPN. Like, you just turn on your TV and, like, you're going to see different time slots of, like, documentaries, like debates, like basic coverage, previews. It's going to be a running channel on Twitch, and you're not going to want to miss it. It's going to change the way that you watch football coverage. That's facts.
For sure. So make sure you guys go check that out. We have an Instagram. Do we have a Twitter yet?
We do have a Twitter.
We have an Instagram. We have a Twitter.
Yeah.
We got the Twitch. So make sure you guys go follow those. It's going to be huge for all of your NFL news, but also a good way to support me and support all of these other creators. We're putting so much work into this, so it would mean a lot if you guys go check it out. But without further ado, Dan, let's hop into some of the tough questions. I'm gonna hit you with a tough one. I'm gonna hit you with a tough one right away. I'm gonna hit the Bills a little bit here. I know that you are a big Josh Allen guy. You love your quarterback.
Huge
love your
Josh Allen guy. Huge.
So it's no question that the Bills over the past few years, they haven't been great. they haven't really been a team you're worried about. Usually when the Patriots would play them, it's like, oh, that's an easy win. Oh, that's a win. That's a win. They're not a playoff team. But ever since Sean McDermott came in, you guys have just flipped everything around, it seems like. Rex Ryan went out, Sean McDermott came in, and now you're changing things. You're a team that's competing for the East in the first time in years. You're a team that has playoff caliber talent, and you've made the playoffs a few times already. So with that being said, what are your expectations in 2020 for the Buffalo Bills, and what makes this year different compared to all of the other years prior? Let's say even last year.
Sure. And so there's absolutely no question that the 2019 season ended with an absolute heartbreak, right? Like, I was expecting the Bills to at least get past that wild card game right against the Houston Texans. And I'm sure you watched it. It ended in complete heartbreak. So with the additions that the Buffalo Bills put in together so far this offseason, I am expecting an AFC championship or bust. That's what I want to see. I want to see a damn playoff game being hosted in Buffalo, New York. Now, it's interesting that you say that the Bills look a lot different, especially after this one offseason by itself. And it really comes down to two additions. One is clearly Stefon Diggs.
Sure.
And the Buffalo Bills have been missing out on a true number one receiver for most likely the past 10 to 12 years. And once you look at what the Buffalo Bills were able to do in 2019 with just John Brown and Cole Beasley right as their number 1 and 2, this guy's going to be an absolute game changer. It's going to stop teams from consistently putting pressure on Josh Allen because he didn't have that number 1 target that can create space and get open. Stefon Diggs is about to completely revolutionize our offense. And then secondary, you have to look at the running back that we just ended up picking up in Zach Moss, straight out of Utah. Devin Singletary impressed last year, but what he missed was a running back that complemented him. Don't get me wrong, love Frank Gore to death. In fact, I'm pretty sure he's on the Jets now. He'll probably play until he's 57. But he wasn't that like bruising running back that he used to be back in his prime. Zach Moss is now that guy. So I'm hoping that the Bills' offensive identity is not just an offense that can keep you in the game and hope that your defense wins it for you. So, I mean, that's my thought process of exactly how the Bills are going to end up like making that next step and be not only a threat during the regular season, but in the postseason as well.
For sure, yeah. And I mean, Stefon Diggs, I thought was a great addition for you guys. I was personally super surprised when I saw that trade go down and him going to the Bills. That shocked me. I did not see that happening. I didn't even know the Bills were in the game for a guy like Stefon Diggs because for the longest time, even before the offseason, I think it was even before the start of this past 2019 season, the Patriots were a big team talking about a guy like Stefon Diggs. Now, was that because the Patriots truly missed out on Stefon Diggs, or was that because, Brady was kind of out the door? They didn't really want to make a big trade for a wide receiver because, they just didn't really feel like he was needed now that Brady was gone. I don't know, but I think that addition for Stefon Diggs is going to be really good for you guys. But, what are your expectations? Like, what do you think that connection is going to be like between Josh Allen and Stefon Diggs? And I know that's a loaded question, and that's something that you can't truly predict. But in your own opinion, like, what is your vision when you see someone who you're expecting to be your number 1 wide receiver and your starting quarterback?
So it's interesting, right? Like, I mean, like, say that you watch my channel, you know that I am a huge advocate for run the damn ball. And I still want the Buffalo Bills to be a run first type of offense. The only problem is that I have a feeling, and knock on wood, and so I really, really hope that I'm wrong, but Stefon Diggs is going to share the same frustration around midseason with the Buffalo Bills that he did with the Minnesota Vikings, which caused him to want to leave. Because when you look at the Vikings, their offense was all Dalvin Cook last year, and Stefon Diggs wasn't getting the looks that he absolutely wanted to. So as far as the connection with him and Josh Allen is concerned, as long as Josh Allen gets him involved in the game as much as possible, then I think that they're going to get a pretty solid relationship once it progresses into the season. Seeing that Josh Allen has improved on his deep ball accuracy, which I'm sure you know, and most Pats fans know that that was his biggest struggle throughout 2019. But like what people don't like to talk about is the fact that Josh Allen was like top 10 in the league for short passes and mid passes by itself. So I'm hoping that he'll be able to get Diggs involved soon and give him the touches that he wants. Most Pats fans and like most NFL fans, they're going to think that Stefon Diggs is going to come out and like he's going to be like Josh's number 1 target. In my opinion, Stefon Diggs really isn't going to blow up until I want to say midway through the season, because I'm under the impression that defenses are going to be double teaming him for the majority rate of those first couple of games. And I have a feeling that Cole Beasley and John Brown will have a better first half of the season for that reason alone. And so once the defenses start realizing like, oh shit. And so the Bills also have John Brown and Cole Beasley, then they're going to start distributing their defenses elsewhere. And that's when you're going to see Stefon Diggs sort of take that next step and blow up.
Yeah, for sure. And I feel like something that's really good too about Stefon Diggs is the fact that, I mean, like you said, Josh Allen definitely has gotten better in those short to medium types of passes. And that's something that he had struggled with earlier on in his career, is kind of that accuracy with those shorter passes, which is something that he's definitely gotten better with. And I feel like something that we've seen with Tom Brady with the Patriots is kind of just those little short dump offs. But when you have a guy who can really do yards after the catch, which I really think Stefon Diggs has, it can be really beneficial for you guys. And so I think as a Patriots fan, something that I will say our defense needs to do is make sure that short tackling is going to be a thing. Now, we have a great defense. It's definitely one of the top in the league. For some reason, when I said that, Patriots fans were like, it's not one of the top in the league. What are you talking about? We lost Jamie Collins and Van Noyen. I was like, no, it's still one of the top in the league. So I think, making sure that they're short tackles and making sure that guys like Cole Beasley or Stefon Diggs aren't able to get those yards after the catch. I think that is going to be one of the biggest needs for the Patriots when they play the Bills. Now, real quick, Pats Nation, I got something exclusive for you. With this whole pandemic going around, gyms are closed, and you're probably thinking that there's no way for you to get in shape and to lose weight. But I'm here to tell you that that is not the case. Because when most people think of trying to lose weight, they think of exercise. Now, whether they actually start exercising or not, the results normally are the same either way. I say the same thing because losing weight is all about nutrition. I partnered up with Awaken 180 Weight Loss, and if you guys do sign up for this, you guys will receive a customized nutrition plan, weekly one-on-one coaching, and the option to receive 80% of your daily food to help you lose weight and meet your goals. During your weight loss transformation, you'll be gaining the tools to know how and what to eat so that you can keep the weight off, not for short term, but for the long term. And of course, Awaken 180 will provide you with free support for life. Guys, go check it out. Call the long-term solution for weight loss and the official weight loss program of the Boston Red Sox, Awaken 180 Weight Loss. You guys can find this online at awaken180weightloss.com. Into a Josh Allen question here. Good transition here. So,
Right.
The fumbling issue.
Ooh.
Yeah, I had to bring this up.
Don't make me talk about that.
I do.
I've never
I
talked
do
about it.
I've
never talked about.
You've never
and so
talked
honestly,
about this.
I've never talked about it because it's almost like it's a form of denial.
Yeah.
It's almost like it's a form of denial at this point.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, yeah, dude, shoot away. Let's talk about the fumbling issue.
All right, so the fumbling issue. He had what, 6 last year plus his 9 interceptions. Those are a lot of turnovers just from your quarterback alone. And when you're going to face a defense like the Patriots, who you're facing twice a year with a great defense and guys who they know how to get the ball out. They are talented. They are wizards in making sure that you fumble the ball, punching the ball out. They're very good at that. And with Josh Allen's issues there, if he can't really overturn these issues of fumbling the ball, then I think it's going to really be a big issue for the Bills, at least a big issue when they're playing the Patriots and defeating the Patriots when taking over the East. So, what are your thoughts on Josh Allen's fumbling issues? And, how do you think that he's going to transition to 2020? Do you expect this to be a season where fumbling is just not an issue? Do you think that it's still going to be an issue for him?
So as far as a skill perspective, I feel like there's really not many drills that you can do to go on ahead and actually help you secure the ball better. It's just embedded in your DNA. But the thing that keeps me optimistic of the fact that I think that Josh is going to significantly cut down his fumbles is the fact that I think that now that once you account for all of the weapons that he has on offense right now, is that him being that mobile quarterback is not going to be as electric, and it's not going to be as often as it was in 2018 and 2019. Josh Allen, he's a baller. So what Josh Allen is going to do, he's not going to be that guy that feels like he needs to win the game by himself at this point, especially once you get players like Stefon Diggs and you have an amazing run game. I have a feeling that Josh Allen is not going to be that run threat as much as he was in the past couple of years, and I'm hoping that that will be able to fix the issue. But at the same time, that's what makes Josh Allen great, that dual threat quarterback that can go on ahead and just run it up the gut, and then once in a while, and so he'll make those amazing plays, but those fumbles, they are an issue. Going back to my recent take as well, I have a feeling that defenses are not going to be as quick to pressure Josh Allen due to the fact that we probably have some of the best route runners in the NFL right on the Buffalo Bills within Cole Beasley and Stefon Diggs at that point. Just knowing that, say, for example, that Josh notices that quick pressure, he's not going to be the guy to scramble outside of the pocket, but he's going to be that guy that's just going to dunk it off to Stefon Diggs for like an extra 10 to 15 yards. So while fumbles still sort of scare me, I think that Josh is not going to be put into the opportunities which ultimately ended up causing those fumbles.
For sure. So kind of navigating into just another concern here, what would you say your biggest concern is with the Buffalo Bills? You know, you could also kind of take this as like, what would be your biggest weakness? And, you know, what concerns you about this team and maybe not succeeding? What do you think that hole is?
Yes. So right in the offseason, and so your boy was legitimately going on ahead and screaming from the rooftops that we needed to address our offensive line. Like, I was praying that we would go on ahead and find some additional depth and maybe find like a big name player, like that guy from Green Bay. I think it was Beluga or something like that. I'm pretty sure he ended up going elsewhere. But the Buffalo Bills are getting their exact same offensive line from last year. And I'm sort of nervous of the fact that we didn't make those additions and we're still going to have some of those weaknesses, specifically when it comes down to our rookie from last year, Cody Ford. Mm-hmm. When it comes down to football teams, like, right in my opinion, and so the most important thing is your offensive line. And while I thought that it was weak from last year, I'm hoping that maybe the front office and maybe the coaching staff is relying on the fact of just pure chemistry, right? That like, and so these guys, like, they've like worked together for an entire year. They're going to come out and they're going to make their improvements and things are going to be fine. So that offensive line has something to prove to me. And so far it is my biggest concern. That and so the absolute brutal schedule we have this year.
I know what that's like.
Yeah. For sure.
So that was your biggest concern here. So I think something that you're gonna probably love to talk about this one here. It's, what would you say the strength of the Bills is for 2020?
And so honestly, dude, like when it comes down to it, it is definitely our defense, right? Now, don't get me wrong. Like, several people they're talking about, like, oh, well, they lost out on Shaq Lawson, and then they ended up losing out on Jordan Phillips to the Arizona Cardinals, and Shaq ended up going off to Miami. But the way that our front office invests in our defense, especially once you have a defensive-minded coach like Sean McDermott, and so, like, y'all know all about that with Bill Belichick, obviously, you find, like, those players that play the best in your specific scheme. So while we ended up losing Shaq Lawson and Jordan Phillips, we turned right around and ended up getting players not only much cheaper, but you're probably looking at the exact same type of production, such as Mario Addison, who most people don't talk about, but dude, man, racked up 9 sacks 4 years in a row. Mm-hmm. Some more depth like Vernon Butler, etc. And then some people, they're probably going to think I'm crazy as fuck for saying this, but I have a feeling that Josh Norman will be in the conversation for comeback player of the year, because he's finally back with the guy that he absolutely flourished with during the 2015 Panthers Super Bowl run. And I have a feeling that our defense is at the very, very worst, exactly the same as 2019. But in my opinion, I'm thinking we're that much better.
Yeah, and I mean, I completely get that. You know, as a Patriots fan, we've had a pretty brutal offseason for sure. I mean, I don't think you can kind of navigate that and say that this hasn't been a pretty tough offseason for us. But I know what that's like to kind of lose a player who's a bigger name or has been a name for a while and had some good production, and then to bring someone in who maybe too many people don't know the name of, and then kind of, you know, have the analysts or the fan base kind of be like, well, no, we suck because we lost this guy. So I get that. Yeah. And I think that I totally get what you're saying, that, you know the production of these guys, and just because you lost someone doesn't mean that the guy coming in can't be equally as good, if not better, although he's not that same name that you're used to. So I completely get what you're saying there. So
especially with Bill Belichick, like, that dude will pick up like a cashier and turn him into an MVP candidate.
Oh yeah, I mean, he knows how to do that perfectly, right? So
it's insane.
But I think I already know the answer to this question, but I'm gonna ask it anyway.
Got it.
What would you say was the biggest upgrade this offseason?
So the biggest upgrade this offseason is definitely Stefon Diggs.
Yep.
And so I hate to be a broken record at this point, and I won't spend way too much time on it and stuff like that. But I mean, like, honestly, like, it's not only the caliber of play that he brings to the offense, but it's only going to make our other receivers even better. Like last year, like John Brown. And so, like, that dude held his own, like, right against some of the best cornerbacks right in the entire league. Mm-hmm. So imagine what John Brown's going to do once he's paired up against CB2s. I think once you bring in a player like Stefon Diggs, that it just makes your offense completely better, just because like those like star-studded superstar cornerbacks and other DBs, they're going to be focused on your number one guy, but at the same time, like your 2 and 3 could be number ones for other teams in the NFL right now.
Definitely. So, you know, if you were the other side, let's put yourself in the New England Patriots shoes for just 1 second. You're playing against the Buffalo Bills. How would we stop your team? What is the key to success for beating the Buffalo Bills and coming out with that win if you are the Patriots?
Shut down the run game, make sure play action never happens, and pressure the shit out of Josh Allen.
Clean and simple. I like that.
Clean and simple. Yeah.
So to go off of the last question where we just talked about the biggest offseason upgrade, what would you say was the biggest loss you guys had this offseason?
Damn. Yeah. That's actually an interesting question. You know, like, I mean, like, definitely this offseason has been very exciting for me because there's been like so many positives when it comes down to it. I mean, I would probably have to say Jordan Phillips more so than Shaq Lawson, just because with Jordan Phillips, I mean, he really surprised the hell out of me in 2019. And so, like, that dude got cut by the Miami Dolphins and, like, wasn't expecting it. Now, don't get me wrong, we still have Ed Oliver, but having Jordan Phillips as that like, rotational, like, of the interior D lineman was a huge contributor to our success. And I feel like he also sort of acted as a mentor to our younger guys. So, I mean, I would say probably our biggest loss would have had to be Jordan Phillips. But at the end of the day, like I said, we did end up getting some appropriate depth. And while I don't think that we're going to see exactly what Jordan Phillips brought to the table in 2019, I think we'll be okay. But missing somebody like that, especially with the production that he put out in the field, yeah, it hurts.
Yeah, for sure. And I loved Jordan Phillips. I remember exactly when he got released by the Miami Dolphins. I wanted them to sign him so bad. And they were actually interested in, you know, getting him on the team. But the Buffalo Bills actually beat the Patriots too. But like you said, I think that he's a great player. And I can see why you would say that would be the biggest loss to you guys this offseason. I'm somebody who personally says, and Dan, we talked about this when I was on your channel, that, you know, the biggest hole for the Patriots is defensive tackle. And I just don't think people realize how important defensive tackle is. One, at stopping the run, and 2, at applying pressure. You know, I think a lot of people think of, you know, edge rushers when it comes to the defensive line. And I think that defensive tackle is just kind of one of those positions that's forgotten and doesn't really, you know, get the love that it deserves. It might not be the craziest or the most interesting to watch or the most fun offseason addition, but they really can make a huge impact for your defense.
For sure.
So to kind of start ending this out, I know that you already talked about your record predictions for the Bills over on your channel, I believe.
Yeah.
What would you say your record prediction for the Buffalo Bills 2020 season? What is your record prediction?
Okay, so I've definitely been flip-flopping, and so I've been flip-flopping this a lot, excuse me. I am going 11-5.
11-5. Okay.
And so I'm between 10-6 and 11-5. Like in the typical Bills fashion, right? Like, this is the reason why I'm doing it, because when it comes down to our season, each and every single season, there's 2 games that are like nostalgic for Bills fans. One game that we're not supposed to win, but we do. And there's always a game that we're supposed to destroy them and we absolutely shit the bed.
Yep.
So that's why I had to like put that like right to the fact. I'm really nervous about the NFC West. And so obviously, and so I'm really nervous about going up against the Chiefs on Thursday Night Football as well. But I mean, as far as the team is concerned, like there's really not any glaring holes within our team, maybe minus the offensive line. But then again, and so they really weren't like terrible last year, it was more so average. So, I mean, like that's like where I'm at with 11-5. I do think that the Bills are going to win the division this year. Granted, I have been saying this for years, and so I'm hoping that this time I'm right. But yeah. And so I'm having us go 11-5, and I'm hoping for a second or third seed in the playoffs.
For sure. And I think that, that's – I don't see I could see it, but I think it's more unlogical at this point that the Buffalo Bills wouldn't make the playoffs, especially with the new rule of more team making the playoffs. I feel like, especially over the past few years, again, since Sean McDermott has come in, it's really been that case where the Buffalo Bills have kind of just gotten in or they've just missed it. So I am expecting them to make the playoffs this year. And now the big question that I'm sure you're a little nervous to say, and I'm sure Patriots
especially
fans,
on your channel, man. This is not, this is not a good environment for this take right here.
Since they've been waiting for your record predictions
against the Pats.
Against the Pats, you got it, my man.
All right, I think that we take the first one and we lose the second one. That's me. And so I think that we're going to win the one in Buffalo and we're going to lose the one in Foxborough. Just because I think that Sean McDermott, he's just going to like look at the past of how much Belichick goes on ahead and like he just like tries to terrorize young quarterbacks. And I think Sean McDermott's going to do the exact same thing with Stidham.
For sure.
And so I think McDermott, like he's going to make it a damn mission for him to see ghosts that first matchup. But then when it comes down to the Foxborough matchup, I'm confident that Belichick will be able to get Stidham to be sort of more adjusted and ready to play. And like number one, like you can't count out your defense, man.
Yeah.
And so like, I mean, like, so me being a Bills fan, and so I would just be delusional, say that I were to say that, like, I mean, like y'all are not going to be a threat. And so you are. As long as you have that defense in place, y'all are going to be a threat. And that's why I'm thinking that we split it this year.
Wow. You'll probably see by my facial expressions, man. I was so surprised to hear you say that. I was full on coming into this video expecting you to say the Buffalo Bills are going to just smack the Patriots this year twice. Yeah. I was waiting for that to happen.
And so then again, though, like you did hear me just say that the Bills always lose a game that they're supposed to smack, right?
you think it's gonna be the Patriots, right?
That just so happens to be that game.
I feel like that take is so logical against like so many NFL teams, because that happens to the Patriots. Like every year, it's like, oh, we're gonna lose this game, and then it's like, oh my god, we won that game, and then there's a game where it's like, all right, we're just gonna sit back, relax. Even the last game last year of the 2019 season when we were playing Miami
Dolphins,
we're just chilling. We're gonna win this game. Head in bye week, we're chilling.
Fucking
you lose that game. Yeah, he just lost that game, and I was like.
Fitzmagic, man.
Exactly. So they always have those moments. But damn, buddy, I want to thank you so much for coming onto the channel and talking about the Buffalo Bills. I'm talking about the matchup and giving Patriots fans and Pats Nation kind of just the outlook on what to expect when we play the Buffalo Bills, guys. So make sure you go ahead and check out Dan's channel. I'll have everything linked in the description below. You guys will be seeing so much more of Dan if you guys go ahead and follow Fan to Fan, which, again, make sure you do. Go follow that Twitch. Everything linked in the description below. Along with, I'll be having Dan on my channel again to talk about a debate about which is the better cornerbacks. Is it Trey White or Stephon Gilmore? That is going to be a great one. That is going to be happening within a few weeks. So make sure you guys go ahead and check that out. Dan's getting ready for it already.
Oh, I am.
Anything else you would like to say, buddy?
No, man. Once again, Colby, I really appreciate you having me on. And let's go Buffalo.
All right, Pats Nations, that's going to be it for today's video. Like always, thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you guys like this video, give it a big thumbs up. That is the best way to go ahead and support the channel. It doesn't cost you a single cent, and consider subscribing to the channel for all of your New England Patriots news. Like always, thank you guys so much for watching.